Hey, what is up, everybody? We're here with Patrick Byers in his Bellevue office. He's the CEO of Outsource Marketing, the man behind the Responsible Marketing blog, and also Social Media Northwest. Thought he would be a great person to profile, so yeah, here we are. First off, thank you very much, Patrick, for having me in your office.
Thanks for coming today, Kenji.
So, first off, could you introduce yourself?
Well, you just did a pretty good job of it. I'm involved here at Outsource Marketing. I founded the company about 12 years ago. We're pretty busy working out with some cool clients. A lot of companies you've heard of, some you haven't. The ones you haven't, I hope you do soon if we do our job. We're having a great time, helping companies grow. That's primarily what we do. I recognized a few years ago that if my firm wasn't addressing social media, we'd be missing the boat. We'd be actually irresponsible, because it's a big part of marketing today, and we saw that, as a lot of people have. And so we sort of jumped aboard the social media bandwagon when it was a tiny little bandwagon, and have been involved ever since, and really love the space. So I guess some of the people might know me from actually the Responsible Marketing blog, which we started early, I guess in 2007, late 2007, and where we're talking about responsible marketing, and I think we're talking a little more about that in a little bit, but blogging regularly there, and people may know me from online as well on Facebook and all these other places everyone's at.
Very cool. And so, yeah, you're a big advocate for social media. Curious where that comes from.
Well, actually, it's interesting you ask. Back in the 90s, starting in the late 90s, I started teaching the Integrated Marketing Communications course at the University of Washington in the evenings. And IMC is based on this concept of really making the customer part of your company. A lot of people talk about IMC and say, oh, Integrated Marketing Communications, that means your logo and your colors and everything match on your letterhead and your website and your brochure. And that's not what IMC is. IMC actually integrated marketing communications means it's integrating a customer into your company. And so one of the pieces of that is it's important to establish a feedback loop. And through IMC, instructing IMC, one of the things that we were really preaching and teaching in this course was the fact that you have to somehow bring the consumer into the conversation. Yet if you think about the tools that are available in the late 90s, there were none. We did them with surveys and things of that nature, but we really weren't able to get the feedback loop built unless it was somebody picking up the phone and calling or something like that. Social media, to me, feels like it finally delivers on the promise of true integrated marketing communications. And so for me, my interest is in delivering true IMC. In order to do it, you actually have to use social media, because it's finally delivers on this promise of being able to build a relationship and truly integrate the customer's thoughts and wishes and needs and desires in an authentic way into your company.
Very, very cool. And so, now one thing we touched on lightly was you have a blog called the Responsible Marketing blog. Curious as to what your message is there.
Well, kind of our tagline is where commerce and conscience come together. And what's interesting to us here at my firm, and I think most marketers, is this challenge of how far can you go and still be ethical. If you really want to break through, you need to do really interruptive stuff, and sometimes interruptive stuff might be offensive to some people. What is responsible? I mean, if an ad that's offensive to a lot of people actually, drives your economic engine as a business, is it responsible? And I think we're not a bunch of prudes here. We are really seriously interested in that conflict between commerce and conscience. It really came out of us talking about green marketing and social marketing and things like that a few years back. And ultimately, this whole thing came out of our desire to sort of answer some of those questions. We thought it would make interesting conversation. We also did it because we only wanted to work with responsible companies. We thought that would create a nice filter for us, that we'd only work with clients that want to market responsibly, which to us responsible means there's strategic, executional, casting responsibility, ROI responsibility, sort of on the competent side. And on the character side, there's message responsibility and social responsibility, environmental responsibility. We like to work with companies that think those things are important. And if they don't, we like to help bring them up to speed. That's our job.
Wow, very, very cool. So how long has that blog been alive?
Since 2007.
Oh,
So
okay.
late 2007. So last year I posted a blog posting every single business day. I set a goal for myself and it was hard, but I did it. This year, not quite as much, but what I'm doing is I'm trying to focus on really bigger core, larger issues now, instead of really just filling space, and trying to create more conversation across social media, not just on the blog, because really the conversation happens in a really decentralized way. And so I'm trying to actually be more active on not just on the blog, but in social media places talking about these topics. So.
Wow, very cool. And so the URL for that is?
Just responsiblemarketing.com.
Perfect. All right, and little known, well, maybe not little known fact, but you're also a speaker. And one of the topics you like to talk about is social media for social good. Could you touch on that a little bit?
Sure. To me, I think that everybody really deep down wants to do the right thing. We want to do good things. And social media finally makes it possible for us to share information, make ourselves or our ideas or our concepts or our campaigns more shareable. And the beauty of social media is that you can do a lot of social good without a whole lot of legwork if you come up with a great idea and you can tap into the right networks of people. Interestingly, last summer I was asked to do a presentation on social media for social good for PodCamp Seattle over at the UW. And I started to use Google to find a couple of ideas. I already had a whole bunch, but I really wanted to just have this presentation that was chock full of examples. And I kind of clunked myself on the head. What the hell am I thinking here? This is stupid. I should be using social media to find these great examples. And so I actually went out to my network and got some great ideas. And some of my network happened to be people like Chris Brogan and Guy Kawasaki, who went out and shared it with their network. And I had, in less than 24 hours, over 100 examples, incredible examples you never would have found with search, of social media being used to create social good. And I just found that really ironic that I use social media to create social good myself in a way by creating that deck. And the social network really kind of created it. I was just sort of the delivery boy of the message. I was able to kind of aggregate all that information, and since then I've become a lot more interested in it, and I've done that talk probably a dozen times in different iterations. So it's fun.
Very, very cool. And so, quickly, we're running out of time. Where can people find you online if they want to get in contact with you, speaking events, things like that?
Responsiblemarketing.com, outsourcemarketing.com, company website, there's a contact link there. I'm just Patrick at outsourcemarketing.com. But I'm pretty much on most of the main social networks. My team here kind of makes fun of me. I have a Christmas tree ornament that says, "You can find me on," and it's from my blog log. It has all these social networks that I'm on. But I'm most active on Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn, probably like most people, but I do some things on Plurk and FriendFeed and some of the other places that others are going to. So.
Great. Well, Patrick, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks for coming, Kenji.
All right. Everybody, that is Patrick Byers. Go find him. Very cool guy. And a lot of fun to speak with. So, that's it for now.